Go on. Councillor McCready first, and then I'll come to you, Councillor Couch. Thank you.
Thank you. I might not agree with everyone when they're speaking here, but Will does speak very well, and so thank you for your speech. But I'm sorry, I can't agree with it, but I do like you. No, you're a good person. I just want to say we've been given a list, haven't we? Everyone's got this, haven't they? With lots of groups and organisations on there, and I'm part of two of them groups. Whether I need to declare it, it's just we're not voting on anything on them groups individually, are we? But we're lucky in Broxtowe. We've got so many groups and organisations, and there's a list here with some of them on, or ones that's been funded with grant awards, it says at the top. And there's many councillors that either support, because we're not all just councillors here, there's lots of councillors that are part of these groups and organisations all over Broxtowe. And these groups and organisations, it's the list here, they help thousands of people all over Broxtowe, and they can only do that because they're relying from funding from here. And when I've seen what's happened, because there's groups in the city and other areas like that, they're always getting the funding cut. They're being closed down. You've got places like the Marcus Garvey Centre got shut down. You've got the Kaya Development Project in St Anne's, right in the heart of St Anne's, got shut down. And then you see all these incidents that's happening in the city. I mentioned it in a previous meeting. Youngsters up on the roofs of empty buildings in the city. There's sadly the incident the other week with the machetes and that. There's people being stabbed and that in the city and that. And a lot of it is because the youngsters have got nothing to do. And they've got nothing to do because all the funding's been cut from these groups and organisations. We don't do that in Broxtowe. We've supported these groups and organisations, and we've got people out there getting into trouble. Of course we have. But we're able to work with them. We did Operation Potassium a few years ago, where we all worked with different groups and it's still going, isn't it? That at the time, it saw a 33% reduction in antisocial behaviour. That's got a massive value. So the little bits of funding that this council gives to these groups and organisations, it's worth a lot more than the thousands of pounds or sometimes the few £100s that we give to the groups, because they all stretch it and make it work, and they're helping thousands of people. I've looked at this list on here. My community group's on here, and there's 19 groups on here that we work with. So it shows that everyone works together, and that does worry me. One of the other things that worries me is the lack of youth clubs in other areas. And I know it's not something that Broxtowe do, it's the county, isn't it? But we all work together and support them. And then you go in the city and they haven't got any because the county council don't fund them. So the groups and organisations that's working with the youngsters, and I say the youngsters a lot because that's who I do a lot of my stuff with, they're all supported through councils like this, and it's scary, and it scares a lot of these groups that they could end up shutting down because they don't get any funding. Because the attitude is, well, why should we fund something over in, I'll say, Stapleford or something like that, when we're not funding it in St Anne's? And to me, you should be opening more youth clubs, and we should be funding more groups and organisations. So that's quite scary, that. And the other thing is, you can say whether lots of people took part in a consultation or they didn't. People can spin figures however they want. You can win an election if one person votes for you. They don't go, oh, not enough people voted for you, so we'll ignore that, because it doesn't work like that. So the amount of people that's responded to the consultation, the majority of them have said no, they don't want this. I've always sat in council meetings and listened to what the residents said and voted what they've said. Even in the back of my mind, I might have thought something's a good idea. I'm not there for what I want, otherwise it's pointless being a councillor. And then before I finish speaking, I'd just like to say thank you to all the staff, because they've had to do all this, they've had to do all the work, all these meetings and that, and putting facts and figures together and attend meetings for something that could end up them losing their jobs if this doesn't exist anymore. And they've done it in a professional manner like they always do. So I just wanted to say thank you to all the staff, because they do a cracking job. I wouldn't like someone to say to me, go and put a report together, you could end up shutting your community group down at the end of it. And I wouldn't expect anything different from our staff. So I just want to end saying thank you to all the staff that's been involved in this, because it's got to be really difficult for you all, and you all do a cracking job, so thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McRae. Councillor Couch.